So hi, how are you today?
I'm fine.
Well,
Yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for letting me interview you.
Okay, it's a pleasure.
Yes.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Here we are in Dallas, Texas, USA.
Wow.
You flew all the way over here from South
Africa.
And you said you're from Cape Town?
Cape Town.
So tell me, what brought you from Cape Town way over here? And tell us what you
It's a
do.
matter of trying to find out what is the entire world saying in relation to this topic. In relation to this topic, because we've been constantly working on it in South Africa.
I see.
And working in schools, creates a great exposure for us as an organization to get exactly what's happening in relation to corporal punishment with children.
Right.
So our interest was basically to hear what other people are saying and what steps have been followed by other countries in getting it right. We have a wonderful constitution, though, in South Africa.
Okay.
And it's chapter 2 of our constitution, the children's, chapter 2 of the constitution is talking about rights in general.
I see.
So we kind of grappling to reinforce it, though, because some people believe that corporal punishment is the way to go. So we are doing our best in working with schools and trying to promote it. To promote positive discipline.
And how long has either your organization or your country been open to positive discipline project?
It came into force, especially after Mandela's release, because in 1995, she ratified the CRC, and meaning the Convention on the Rights of Children, to ensure that everyone respects rights of children.
Right.
And then in 1996, it was abolished in schools all over the country.
Corporal punishment was abolished
in 1996 in South Africa.
Has it remained out of your school since then?
It's still there. It's still there. We are working on it. But the law, it has been outlawed. It has been banned.
So teachers are literally just breaking the law when they use it.
Exactly. They know. In fact, they know. We're running workshops. From time to time, to try and create awareness on how. Or how they should respect the law. Right. But as I say, we're constantly working on it.
My name is Robin Peters Bennett, and I'm a child counselor, and I'm a therapist that works with children through adults, and my specialty is in trauma. And really the reason I'm here, though, is I sort of became more active and interested in doing a documentary on the impact of spanking children because I experienced an incident outside of my work where this woman was, spanking her children constantly, and I called the authorities, and there was no law to protect them because there was no marks, even though it was chronic and just painful, just excruciating to watch. So I read the research on spanking. It's so clear that there's just no confusion, that it's destructive, and that it's really just a cultural norm that is inside of us that we have to really move beyond. So I want to do a documentary to help people understand that and to give them some alternatives and to see children in a different way. I have a granddaughter. She's 3. She's darling, and we don't hit her. We talk to her. We use positive discipline, and she's so bright. She's so verbal, and she's lovely. And I think, why would you hit a child if you can raise this darling child without doing that? And not to say they're not frustrating.
Oh yeah, it's almost like saying, why would you buy a computer or a cell phone and just drop it on the floor or kick it around?
Oh, my gosh,
it's the same thing. Why would you do that?
That's right.
We wouldn't do it to our pets.
My husband said this morning, he says, we're so careful with the car seats. Why do you put your baby in the car seat or your little child in the booster to keep them so safe just so you can pick them up and hit them?
Right, exactly. You know what? I just want you to tell us the name of one book that you recommend people read. Do you have a title of a book that you can tell people?
Oh, there's so many. Yeah, the religious roots of Spanking Children. It's a great book.
Very good. Thank you so much. And you know what? We're going to hear more because would you join me on my America Speaks radio show?
Oh, that's exciting. I'd love to do that.
All right. Well, thank
It's such
you
a pleasure
so
to meet you and to be here.
You know, I want to thank you so much for this amazing work you're doing, this global summit.
Yeah.
You led this whole thing, is that true?
Yeah, the last 13 months this has kind of been my life.
Wow.
Organizing this and getting ready. And
All right. Well, you keep me in mind next time. I'd love to help you. Any other endeavor like this, you call on me.
Great.
All right. So I have a few questions for you.
Sure.
First of all, what was it that got you started in the business of being concerned about corporal punishment?
Well, I've done research in this area for about 20 years, and I wanted to do something more in social activism to help get the word out that this is a real problem. And I'd organized some academic conferences in the past, but I thought, why not make this a conference for people, lots of different interdisciplinary people who are attorneys, researchers, social activists, educators who are all concerned about this issue but have never come together before.
Exactly.
So I thought it would be a great opportunity for me to do something to contribute to this movement and also to help energize this movement so that it can move ahead both nationally and around the world.
What a generous act of kindness and work. And you know, there has been many people whom I've met who are very concerned, and there's just not a lot. People just don't really know what to do. Yeah.
Right. And that's one of the things we will be concluding the conference with is a set of strategies to move ahead.
Okay, very good.
So that we can have some concrete steps to take, assign duties to different people.
Very good.
And really see progress made on this really important issue.
Very important issue. Now, the people who are going to be viewing this, I want you to tell them they're not here at this conference. How would they know how to get involved? What can people who are watching this now on YouTube, what can they do?
Well, one of the major efforts we're going to do is try to get the word out in more social media ways, so on the internet. So we're going to have a much bigger presence on the internet.
Oh, good.
So they could Google us. You could start with Global Summit.
Okay.
And there'll be links. But we have now got a person in the conference who's very good with the internet, and he's going to spearhead the development of a new site and Facebook links and all kinds of things. And we're going to have, strategies out there so everyone can participate and contact, whether it be encouraging educators or encouraging attorneys to get involved, encouraging community working in the local school district or city council. So hopefully we'll be able to, over a period of time, lay out a plan so that people can, at whatever level they're comfortable at working on this issue, help out.
Exactly. I definitely want to help you with this. This
Wonderful.
is very exciting. As I was walking down the corridor there, I noticed signs saying engaging students, engaging parents, engaging medical professionals.
We need to engage everyone.
Yes, yes. This is an American problem.
It's a worldwide problem.
It's a worldwide problem. Yes.
And part of the issue, I'm an educator, and my view is a large part of the problem is people need to learn and to hear about what are the problems associated with corporal punishment.
Yes.
Since it's been practiced so long, everyone assumes it's okay, but it's not.
It's not okay.
There's a lot of problems, and it's, in my view, this is, if there can be one behavior that parents can eliminate that would help the family, would help children's behavior, it would be eliminating corporal punishment.
Very good, absolutely. Now, with moms out there right now saying, well, you know, I think this works, tell them maybe 3 things that are absolutely harmful.
Well,
why you would say eliminate corporal punishment, maybe just give them 3 things that they can digest.
Just 3, it's hard to limit to 3.
That would maybe say, oh, those are bad enough.
Okay, well, number 1, it teaches children aggression. because a parent is hitting a child and the child learns, oh, my mother, my father hits me when they're mad at me, I'm going to hit other people. And there's many studies, dozens of studies that show children who are spanked more, swatted more, whooped more, hit other children more, and hit other adults. So that's a big problem.
One. Yes.
It also, another big problem is it doesn't contribute to positive parent-child interactions, communication.
Exactly.
Children don't like getting hit. No one likes getting hit. So they feel angry toward the person who hits them.
Right.
Or some kids feel sad and depressed. So it does not contribute to a positive parent-child relationship or positive parent-child communication.
Exactly.
So there, in turn, because the hitting is so upsetting to kids, it can cause depression in children, it can cause anxiety problems, it can cause kids to want to distance themselves from the parents. So
those are two big ones right there. I mean, we could stop there, and that's
okay.
plenty. That is plenty for a parent to want to avoid hitting their child.
Yeah,
or
just give me my third
Go
one would
right
be
ahead.
If it was effective, you'd only need to hit once, and you'd never hit again.
Exactly.
You'd never spank again. But parents spank many times.
Exactly.
And the problem is, the truth of the matter is that children do not have the brain power abilities to control their behavior and to be adult-like, because they're kids. Their brains are not fully formed.
Right.
And nothing works. But spanking has these unintended negative consequences that come with it.
Exactly.
And so that's why so many of us advocate never spank your child.
Right.
It's not going to work. It's has these potentially harmful effects. And it's something that if you avoid it, try avoiding it for a few weeks. And I can't promise you, but I'm convinced it will result in positive changes in the family.
Well, you know, in addition to that, they could be going to positivediscipline.com in those 2-3 weeks that they're saying are not going to hit, and read the material there that has great ideas for alternatives to hitting.
Right, and kind of one of the things that we're trying to advocate with this positive discipline is to think about your parenting and think about what goals you have for your child. And if you think about the long-term goals of how you want your child to develop, that some of these, many children are hit for very petty little reasons that aren't important.
Yes.
And so if you sort of reevaluate and reflect about what's really important, then I think many parents will begin to think, well, maybe I don't really need to discipline my child for that. Now, of course, there are some things that are very important that you need to discipline for safety, danger kinds of things, but you don't ever need to spank. You need to express, verbalize, communicate.
It increases their ability to communicate.
And their ability to communicate, and also to understand why something is dangerous.
Exactly.
But if you hit them, they process the hitting, ow, that hurt. They don't think about, oh, I shouldn't have done that because such and such. But they just think, oh, that really hurt. That makes me mad. I was hit. And they focus on the pain. And they don't focus on the reason for your discipline.
Exactly. And another confusing thing is that this is the person who loves you, and it's like in the middle of their having fun, they get popped. They're like, wow, I thought you were my friend. So it must cause confusion.
It does cause confusion. And that can reflect in this depression that I mentioned, that some children react with being aggressive and will hit the parent. Some children have this conflicting feeling of, oh, my parent who loves me just hurt me.
Right.
And that's very confusing for young children especially. But for all children, and it doesn't contribute, again, to the positive parent-child relationships, which we all want.
Exactly. I have another question, and then I'm going to let you go. I know you're really busy. We're still in the race
I'd love to talk all day with you.
Oh, I would love to also. But I have this question. I spoke to a parent last week. He's a police officer, and he has a 1.5-year-old child. Now, this is one thing. Some people say, well, I don't spank. I just pop them on the hand. And this officer pointed out, oh, when he touches this, when he does that, could you let parents know what doing this constantly to a child can produce in that child?
Well, a lot of these same things that we've been talking about, that just a little slap on the hand.
Yeah, they say, I don't spank him, I just pop him on the hand.
Yeah, again,
help them understand.
Just like we don't allow adults to pop other adults. That would be an assault. We don't believe that parents should pop children or use any form of violence, because again, it's giving this message that if a stronger, more powerful person doesn't like something that the weaker person is doing, that you can pop them or hit them or spank them.
Exactly. The thing that I'm concerned about too, when a parent constantly does that, can it impact the child's creativity? They're kind of like in motion in their childhood. Can it impact their creativity?
Well, sure, because it inhibits them. It instead of allowing the child to want to explore the world, and the children learn through engaging and touching and feeling things. And of course, you don't want to let them touch the hot stove. They need to learn that, but you don't need to hit them for them to learn that.
Exactly.
But it not only can inhibit their creativity, as you're suggesting, because instead of embracing the world and trying to learn about the world by exploring, the parent will sort of make the child inhibited and scared to interact with the world if they're constantly being hit.
Exactly.
But we also know from some brain studies that if a child is frequently hit or popped or smacked, that this can release negative, stress hormones for the child. And that we don't really know what can happen, but it can affect the brain development and how the brain is wired, because the brain is being bathed in these stress hormones as a consequence of those frequent little
stress hormone release times. And can that become an addiction? Can it become where that child, just those hormones are just present, or triggered easily?
Well, yes, they can be triggered more easily.
I see.
And there's ongoing research to try to understand how these kinds of stress hormones are affecting kids long term. So we don't totally know that, but it can affect their attention level, attention span, and various other aspects of their development.
Well, listen, Dr. Holden, I just want to thank you so much. I have such respect for your work. Call me. I want to help you in any way I can.
That'd be wonderful.
And good luck, and we'll stay together on this.
Please,
Okay.
Wonderful.
All right, thank you.
And I'm the author of a book called Beating Black Kids. It's a book about not having to beat our children to discipline them. And I live in Brooklyn. I sleep in Brooklyn, but I dwell in Manhattan, so I'm a New Yorker all day long.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? First of all, I would like very much if you would show everybody your book and also tell them where they can purchase it.
Oh, sure. This is the book, Beating Black Kids. I wrote this book because we need to do better, and we can do better, and it actually shows how to do better, and it's simple.
So we have Al Crowell here at the Global Summit here in Dallas, Texas, and the other day we were meeting, and I heard you start talking about an approach to parents regarding corporal punishment. What was it that you wanted to add to our event the other day?
Oh, right, Paula. I was thinking during one of the talks that one of the things we haven't really focused on as an approach to parents is their own pain in punishing their kids with violence.
Very good.
I think many, many parents really do not feel good about themselves. And they have to kind of blame the kid for making them do it, but they don't feel good about themselves doing it. And that's another avenue for us to, if you will, sell what we're trying to offer them as different alternatives, is to say, this really benefits you. You are going to feel better about this also.
Very good.
Besides the effectiveness that we know other methods bring as far as short-term and long-term effect, the parent feeling better about themselves and their connection with their kids is an area that I think we could focus on more.
Very good. Now, before I let you go, and that's a very good point, and I've hardly heard that one. Is there a book or a website that you would, you know, if a person's listening to this right now saying, hey, that's true, I don't feel good about myself. Do you have any website you could direct them to where they can just begin learning how to do things differently with their child?
Well, of course, on the board of Parents and Teachers Against Violence in Education, I would recommend that, which is nospank.net.
Very good, yeah. Well, listen, thank you so much, and thanks for your advocacy for our children. And I'm glad to be a board member with you with Jordan Ryak, the Parents and Teachers Against Violence in Education.
Thank you, Paul.
All right,
My name is David Cooperson.
All right, and you drove all the way down to Dallas, Texas from where?
Well, actually, I flew from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
All right, and what is your work or your interest in school corporal punishment in this country?
I worked for 32 years as a child abuse and neglect administrator for the city of Philadelphia, one of the biggest cities in the country. And as far as child abuse and neglect, I saw how hitting was something that leads to worse things where people really get hurt. And I noticed that the laws allow hitting, and that's a problem because a lot of parents were like wrapping a pipe with a towel and hitting kids so that there wouldn't be any bruises and things like that. And in Pennsylvania, the schools, it was illegal. We even had to investigate it. And I was even surprised when I found out that there were 20 states that still had it. And after I retired, and I also was an individual family therapist and so on, and after I retired, I saw all of this pain and everything over the years that I had seen. I decided to devote my retirement to stopping corporal punishment in school and hopefully at the home. And this has become very important because this is something that the country denies, and I was delighted to hear that there was a huge conference, a global conference of people of like mind that are doing this.
Yes.
And I think people in this country are so programmed about hitting that there needs to be education, but there needs to be laws, just like smoking, where we don't get the dangers of smoking, and we don't get the. There's 30 years of research. I've written some articles on the effect of child maltreatment on the brain, and I've done some articles on the ethics of it, and I'm trying to change my profession into being more proactive social work.
Very good.
And this is what we want with all our heart, and it's for the best of children. And if we want to really stop violence in the world and everything like that, this is where we have to go, because hitting begets hitting. And thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, thank you so much. And you know what? I'd like to interview you on some of the articles you've published and also on the work you're doing now. And
no problem.
Would you be willing to get on America Speaks with me?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
All right. Well, thanks so much, David, for your work.
All right. And thank you for the opportunity.
Sure.
Thank you for all you're doing.
Oh, thank you, David. God bless you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.